I don't know anything about German Expressionism. I've never had the privilege of learning art at school, so no. I was born in Zambia in Africa, and my great-grandparents are from India, Punjab. And my grandparents sort of moved to Kenya as part of the migration. So my mum was born there, and then they moved to Zambia, which is where I was born. And from there, I grew up in quite a strict family, and I knew very early on that I didn't necessarily share the kind of visions that they had for me in life. And I think my soul knew before my physical being knew, because I was doing silly things at school. Like I remember being at school at 10 years old, and June is when we have winter in Zambia, and by winter I mean you probably need a cardigan. Okay, so I used to go to school in June to acclimatise to England, because I'd heard how cold it was and I'd been here a couple of times. So I used to go to school with my uniform and without a cardigan. I'd get there and then I'd take the cardigan off and put it in my bag, because I think I'm acclimatising. Yes, now I can survive England if I can do this. And they'd be like, you've got goosebumps. No, I'm fine. And I had no idea at that time, well, my soul did, but I didn't, that this was the path I was going to be taking. So I then used education to sort of leave my parents and come out to England. And so I went to school, and obviously I had to stay at school, so it was boarding school. And what I was very excited about is suddenly there was no sunshine. I was like, okay, that's okay, because we got lots of sunshine in Zambia. It's like, so we took it for granted, a bit like everyone takes the NHS for granted here, I guess. Yeah, we took it for granted, so that was okay. But I remember sort of thinking, well, this is it then, I guess. And it just felt like I'd taken this big step, and I felt this sick feeling in my stomach that I'm not sure I want to do this. I have to share a room with these girls, and I don't know if I can, and they don't know me, and I just had that period where I remember ringing my mum and saying, I'm not sure I want to, and she says, oh, you'll be fine. And after that weekend, I was exactly fine, but I had it just for that moment over the weekend where I thought, oh, I don't know if I want to stay here, really. You know, I don't know if I know the things to fit in here well enough, because people's common knowledge or general knowledge would have been different to mine. We didn't have as much TV time, so a lot of the programs were different that people were talking about. Oh gosh, if they asked me stuff at school, will I be able to answer that? Will people be able to understand what I'm saying, how I speak? Okay, that one feels really cold, so... We went to the West End in London, and I saw this production, and I was absolutely bowled over. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my head, I'm gonna wash, and I absolutely loved it. And I think that was my first introduction to theatre ever. And I was taken in, totally taken in. And I thought, you know, up until then, we'd only ever watched sort of films at home, or Bollywood films or things like that. But I didn't even make the connection between the two. I was totally taken into this world, and people dancing on stage, and I loved it. The colour, the whole, how huge it was. Amazing. Yeah, totally taken by it. Yeah, that one's all right. He's laughing. I'm not sure what's coming out of his nose though, so okay. I think what makes art in Leicester very, very interesting is the fact that Leicester is, I've always said this, Leicester is like an example to the world really, because we have all different sort of cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities and all like this great melting pot sitting on the planet, and everybody comes here and it's harmonious. You know, we have people doing peace treaties around the world to bring groups like this together, but Leicester's achieving it. And with all that kind of cultural melting pot happening in Leicester, it's the whole world's cultures coming together and fusing, and that just helps creativity grow even more, and so it's very empowering for individuals. Colours, I do like the geometric shapes. I'm not so sure about the whole rest of it, to be honest. Do I think art should be challenging? No. Should we push ourselves outside our comfort zone? Yes, because that helps us grow, grow our souls, grow our potential, become more rounded individuals and make the world a smaller place. Huh. Black and white, okay, nothing. Now, you see, somebody else asked me this the other day. They were saying how they don't speak Punjabi, which is what my parents speak, and they wish they did. And I had to ask them, I said, well, why? Why do you wish you did? Well, because we've got to keep the culture alive. I think we're fluid, and I think we should just move and grow with how we feel at any one time, not because we have to. I don't think we have to anything. You know, Shakespeare was creating language, so when people get on their soapbox about Twitter speak, you know, I use Twitter speak all the time, LOL and LMFAO and stuff like that, YOLA, embrace it, because, you know, if Shakespeare was here, he'd be creating it, come on. If we were stuck to old English right now, you wouldn't be able to understand me. Quite frankly, you know, so it's move and grow. I don't think we should ever just go, oh gosh, those are our roots, we should. It happened, move on. Again, a bit sparse, not really for me. Sounds like they're going to be having a dancer appear soon. It's okay. So the job of an artist is not to be a dictator and impose their ideas on you. You know, follow your heart, and really, if it gets people thinking and talking about your art, brilliant. Even if somebody turns around and says they hate it, it's great, because they're communicating and it's affected them in some way. It's opened them up in some way. They might have been somebody who's isolated for a while or deeply depressed. And if they're deeply depressed, they don't necessarily want to talk about it. But if they suddenly see a piece of artwork that they absolutely hate with passion, guess what? They're talking about it. No. No, darkish. I was just looking at them as individual pieces, but yeah, I could see that maybe it was during quite a difficult time, and people are using it as a form of expression to release what they might be feeling. So that's why you've got like a bit of the dark colours. It's like having a rainy day out there, and it's going to affect how you feel and what you think. And so I wonder if that's what it's about trying to break free through that, a bit like gospel music did for people, I guess. It was there, or flamenco dancing did for people, to just, that is their form of rebelling, maybe.